Good people, we back. Rollo TV, bridging the gap. Today I got Ozzy Fit and I got Black in the building, man. And we gonna just get into it, man. So, what's been new in your world, Black?
Man, same shit, different day.
Same shit, different day. What you got into today?
Shit, can't talk about all that right now, Mom.
I was kind of fed.
Can't talk about all that right now.
I was kind of fed. Oh, okay. Do you?
I was at this concert there with CeeLo Green.
He just said he was going to. Funny as hell.
T.I. was there.
How did it go? Like, it was packed out, huh?
Yeah, it was packed, bro. A lot of beautiful FBA women there, bro. Can't even lie.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of FBA women,
women.
yeah.
The topic you're in, bro.
Speaking of, you just brought it back to my memory, man. So I guess, yeah, we're having a little off-camera discussion about African-American women and, you know, African women. Being that me and Ozzy Fit, we're both of African descent, first generation African. And it's often in our minds, as first generation, it's like yin or yang, you know? Like, what we doing? Like, and Black, you, of course, FBA general, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
what's your perspective on the cultures, man? Do you feel like you could easily date an African woman, or is that like hell no? How do you feel?
I think I could, bro. I don't think it'll be that difficult if I can connect with other cultures. So I don't think it's not really an issue for me per se. So I don't really. It seems like I talk to like a Colombian, Dominican. It's not really an issue for me. I know it's more of an issue maybe when an African woman is on some like she doesn't even know who Martin Luther King is. Some type of African woman, you know, like somebody like who like doesn't like respect Black American culture when we move to America.
Yeah.
So do you feel that often as an FBA man? You feel like a lot of Africans or African American women don't have a respect for your culture?
You mean African women?
Yeah, do you feel that way sometimes?
I mean,
Like you don't feel a respect?
The ones that first come here usually are that way. The ones off the boat be coming here, bro, talking hella shit about FBA people and our culture.
That's unfortunate, man. Ozzy, what's your take and perspective on it, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as far as like dating between cultures, it kind of depends. Like for me personally, I don't have a strong attachment to any culture in particular because I'm like in a in-between state. You know, I grew up in the suburbs, so I grew up around a lot of other like races. You know, just from the start.
What kind of suburbs was he like?
Like mainly like it was pretty. I would say it was pretty diverse, but it's gonna be majority white people. You know? But it was for the most part it was pretty diverse. There's still a lot of other races there.
Could you give me like something like a frame of reference, like a school district or something?
Or county.
I would say just like is this what you consider this north of Georgia or
Yeah, North Atlanta.
North Atlanta.
Yeah, North Atlanta. You know, the schools in North Atlanta, probably around that area.
So we talking like Norcross vibes, we talking Grayson vibes, we talking Central, because
I'd say more of like a central.
A Central. So
Yeah.
like a lot of blacks and Hispanics.
Grayson.
Okay, so Grayson is like some white shit.
Yeah.
Some whites with a little bit
It's
of.
Black people with Grace.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But like a little bit.
They're gonna be there. You know,
They're there,
And
but
they
they're
have
not.
a community there.
I don't remember seeing.
They're not in charge of what they.
No, they're not in
I
charge.
was in the program at Grayson. I don't remember seeing any Black women at Grayson.
Yeah, it's because there's not that many.
There was a few Black dudes, just like a few hundred.
Right.
Football
Yeah,
players.
that's kind of how it was. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's black girls there, but it's like
There was a few.
So you grew up not being around a lot of black women from
I
the
did grow
beginning?
up around them, but then at the same time too, right? There's not a lot of like my type of like African.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, obviously people are more so looking for others that they can relate to culturally.
Definitely.
So I'm not on their type of timing, or I'm not on their like wavelength or
What they on? Yeah.
pattern. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like even though they're there, I'm not gonna be the guy they're looking for. And at the same time, for me, I don't know enough about them for me to get them comfortable enough to start that conversation, you know?
I understand.
So it's like you do feel kind of a sort of alienation,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as you're going through things, especially in the dating, but specifically with dating.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're just talking to people and like friends and meeting people, that's not an issue. But with dating, you guys both got to be really comfortable with each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if your culture is different enough where it's like, man, you don't really know much about you guys, and it's like, it's going to be awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Now you dealt with this awkward situation, and it's like, oh, I'm awkward because I just don't know enough about you.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah. Damn. You hit the nail on the head, bro. Because you know what I'm saying?
what I mean?
I'm trying to do the African thing. I'm trying to go back to my roots. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You know?
And it's some times where I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you just don't know. You
And
know?
it's not even the same country. So I was like,
Right.
I was sitting there with a blank face. I love the values, like,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like, bruh, a lot of this shit, I'm just like a fly on the wall
That's
sometimes.
the thing, you know?
And it's like, we're the same people because we're all in the same region, but it's also
Right.
like, what is happening right now?
Yeah,
Like,
like-
I literally don't know what the fuck is happening. Like,
you know?
and it's uncomfortable.
You know?
But
And-
I don't want to come out here and get somebody who I know doesn't have the same principles as me.
that's another
Because I stand on principle.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of like westernized mindset, FBA, Black African Americans, they don't stand on principle as much. I feel like a lot of them are mercenaries in relationships. I'm just speak bluntly. They're hired guns a lot of times. Because, and it's not that I'm putting it on them specifically, Black. So don't feel offended, bro. I'm just saying,
I'm listening right now.
just the condition in which we exist, the capitalism of America, and the way that the child support system is set up. It's like, it's predatory as fuck to be Black in America, be a
that's
Black
facts,
American man.
that's facts, that's actually
And
facts.
back home, like, we don't have to deal with that portion of it at all.
Right,
Like,
right.
so the women are moving completely different. Like, they want their man happy. The women here is like, nigga, just get me pregnant, I'll be straight.
Yeah, no, that's fact. That's
So-
the whole fact, though.
Yeah.
That's actually a good
So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't want to put my, like, they don't see that as, oh, I have bad principles. They see that as, I made a good business decision.
Yeah.
The bitch that trapped Zion Williamson is not being shamed by any Black woman, any Black American woman. Even if that girl is a Bible thumping girl, nobody is shaming these women.
That's what's her name, Brittany.
It doesn't matter.
No, I'll say her names. People recognize Brittany, so and so, the light skinned girl who I got that. Dude.
Oh, you're talking about Brittany Griner.
I think it's Brittany Renner.
Renner.
Grindr,
Oh yeah,
That's
shit.
the-
My bad. That's the
That's
nigga.
Waka Flocka.
That's the homie.
That's Waka Flocka Grinder, yo.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, bro. Whoever the Brittany, the other one, the light skinned one, bro. She said straight up, bro. Like, that was like her job
Yeah,
to get a nigga to have her,
yeah.
get her pregnant.
And so for me, right, being that I'm of a different culture, I look at that and say, damn, well, this woman is doing these terrible things to people, and all the other women around her circumference and of her ilk and of her class and like her background, they don't have anything negative to say about it. They kind of just are sitting in silence. Like, so when I see a lot of silence, I'm like, okay, you're co-signing. Basically, without co-signing, you're co-signing.
Okay.
You're like, oh, okay, this sounds all right. This is an okay way to live.
I don't know enough or where I see it, but I don't see where it's being posted for me to know if there's being backlash in a specific area, you know?
I've never seen Black FBA women go against Black FBA women. Like,
What you mean?
they stand together. Like, well, even if
we just saw 5 Black FBA women get into a fight.
yeah, but you know, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about.
Politically.
I'm not
Yeah,
talking
that's it.
about
Black women be hating
skirmishes.
on each other, bro. They be hating on them because another nigga smashing the other chick.
We're not talking about skirmishes. We talk, of course, everybody that's around, you know, stuff happen.
Black women-
But we talking about like ideology wise, like they stand for the same shit most times. Like they're all like democratic as fuck. They like church. They love Beyonce. Like it's hard to find them going against the grain. And if they do go against the grain, they're ousted. They're like, oh, that bitch is a pick me. Fuck her.
Well, yeah. If
Bro, I
it's-
got a perfect example.
to
bro.
be in favor of, like, I think the way the culture is set up here, there's a mindset towards, like, being submissive or subservient to your man.
They hate it.
I think that's, like,
Shamed.
It's like just shamed. And
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna say
mean,
that's more in the city though. I feel like you can find a girl middle of nowhere, and that's black, in the middle of nowhere,
They have-
Missouri or Mississippi. She's gonna be submissive.
they definitely have louder voices though
Yeah.
in the greater,
In the city, yeah.
mainstream media.
Yeah.
You know, they have a louder
That's the ones
voice.
that people focus on.
You know, so it's like in a way,
But if you find a black girl in the middle of nowhere in Omaha, Nebraska,
right.
she's probably gonna be like, "Oh, I'm ready to have 2 kids, get married."
But then she's probably gonna be a little conservative.
Mhm.
You know.
Slightly more, yeah.
You know.
And
So-
that's a great point, bro, because think about what he said. Like, as an immigrant, my parents only moved to major cities.
yeah.
They didn't move to Omaha, Nebraska.
right.
They came to like, okay, this is a democratic leaning place. I could live here and build,
Right.
and nobody's gonna try to fuck with me.
Yeah.
But if my family-
wasn't like, let me build a house in the middle of nowhere in rural Alabama and make a startup company.
Right.
A lot of immigrants think, let me go to the biggest city possible.
Because it's safety in numbers. Because, like, let's be honest, we know America has a terrible history of treating blacks bad.
Right.
So it's very scary when you're not from here, you don't know this place, to venture off into the middle of fucking nowhere.
Because more-
So
You know, there's a lot
what
of
we met here
black towns.
was literally the worst forms of blacks
Right.
in America. Like the lowest grade. Like, bro, I grew up in the projects.
You mean as far as like in like the bigger cities?
Yeah, major city blacks are probably the shittiest blacks. The shittiest blacks live in major cities. But if you go when you go down to these good old Macon, Georgia
A
motherfuckers,
lot of Herschel Walker.
they got a lot of value. They got a lot of principle and work ethic.
Yeah.
But these major cities, Section 8 babies, and government kids,
Yeah, definitely poverty.
they're children of the corn.
Poverty, yeah.
It's not just poverty, but it's like they're also like these government test tube children. They got the 3-strike rules, taking all the dads away. Then on top of that, you introduce crack. Now you got a grandma that's on drugs. Like,
Yeah.
it's so many things that happen in these major cities that just make them the worst form of Black America. And I'm just calling it how I see it. Cause like, bro, you don't see these same issues in these rural ass areas.
Right.
It happens, but it's more unlikely.
It's more unlikely, but you will
Yeah.
see more racism out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I know scared my parents away.
Yeah.
Cause we weren't trying to deal with that shit.
That's the thing.
Fuck,
It's a toss up with it.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean,
It depends on where you're at. Like, you gonna find racism in rural Oregon, rural California.
you don't know that.
Every state is rural.
You're
Every
not
state
really
is
gonna
rural.
know that though. That's the thing.
We're not American.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. I
navigating
know a lot
it
about
is-
geography and shit. Like, if you African, there's a black town in the middle of nowhere in Ohio that's not Cleveland. You can go to. You can build your house there. And
We're not
no
American
racism.
though. You're not thinking from
But I
an
ain't talking
immigrant.
about from I'm talking about from your dad's perspective. Like, if he did a little research, he would have found some of these places. But he was, I'm gonna go to the blackest cities in America.
Right. Because it's smart.
Niggas be killing each other every day.
Yeah, I mean, there's also that, and then there's also the idea that let me go to a built like
Yeah. Establish something.
suburban,
Yeah.
white
Same way
society.
when Hispanics move to America, they always want to live in California.
Nigga, because it's
Maybe
smart.
Texas, but
It's
usually
smart.
California.
There's just more of them over there.
It's
Yeah,
smart.
It's
I know you've never like.
Mexico's cousin at this point.
I know you like okay, so if you're traveling, right, and you're going to a foreign country, are you going to go to the smallest town in that foreign country? Or are you going to go to something that you know is populated and safe?
Probably a lot of tourists.
If you go to France, are you going
do some research? I probably be like, yo.
you're going to go to France, man. You're going to go to Paris, France, nigga. Stop
Well, like,
it.
what's
You're
the-
not going to
I'm
go
like,
to the
where's all the
village 2
Africans
hours
at?
away.
Yeah, you might
I'm like, where all the
find a
Africans
native
at?
that might lead you there.
Yeah, but if
that's
not,
after you've touched down, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I
so it's like those connections aren't even made until after you're in the
Yeah.
major city.
Right.
You know?
Right. Try that in a small town.
So it's like,
as that country singer said, he said that song for a reason. Try that in a small town because people be scared of these small towns. Even
Yep.
though, more matter of factly, it's probably slightly more safer. But it's always tension of like some shit's gonna go down. Like when I was in West Virginia, over there in the middle of nowhere, I remember one time I was driving in West Virginia recently, trying to get to Virginia to get back to Georgia. I remember I was driving for like 55 minutes on a narrow road, no signal, no lights. I'm like, bro, literally like somebody could get a shotgun and shoot in my car. And nothing would happen. Police wouldn't come or anything. Because literally, there's no signal. There's no signal for like an hour in these small towns too.
Mm.
So I understand that perspective why people don't go to small towns. Because like, when you think about most of these, like half of America isn't developed. Half of it, like there's places in Georgia you can go to where houses look like Gone with the Wind, or they look like Wizard of Oz's.
Right.
And there's no signal.
And those are
We
some of the
don't-
best people, man.
They're some of the best people. I can see why people don't want to go there. It's the middle of nowhere.
And you're American, and you're saying this. So imagine
I
somebody.
go to these places,
Imagine
though.
somebody.
I can see why.
Imagine somebody who's not American. Like if you're scared, they're terrified, nigga. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not gonna see no African immigrant be like, "Yo, let's build our houses in West Virginia."
Because, like I said, bro, if you're scared,
Yeah,
they're terrified.
Right.
Anything that you feel, they
I've
feel.
seen it.
They feel times 100.
yeah.
That's just how it is when you're a foreigner.
Like, all these migrants who come here, notice where they go: Chicago, Atlanta.
Right.
They don't even go to like North Gwinnett. They go to Atlanta. They go to like the thing that you can like easily Google in another country
Yeah.
Yes.
no.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
common sense.
Yeah, I understand that part.
Right.
But I also understand that they should move to these places more because I think that's where they can develop and build their own.
Right.
Maybe, yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right, bro.
Yeah.
Because I have seen it. I mean, like
You know,
like he's saying
all
right
these
now.
Africans who moved-
Go ahead.
All these Africans who moved to like Chicago, and like, bro, they gonna get robbed and killed. We'll be honest.
I don't know about
They gonna
that.
get robbed and killed, yo.
I don't know about that.
Well,
but what I can say,
700 homicides a year. We gonna say.
what I can
It's
say,
not-
go. You got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a guaranteed thing to just like be living in fear anyway, right?
Yeah.
I think if anything, like there's value in touching down in the city. Period.
Definitely.
There's value in touching down in the city because you're gonna meet everybody there.
Yeah, that's just common sense.
You know what I mean? But touching down is different from living and creating a life there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just gonna immediately come to America create a life.
Yeah, that doesn't work like
You know
that.
what I mean? You're gonna come to America, think about it, navigate, see what your options are.
Yeah.
And then you create a life.
Yeah.
So the problem is not coming here and coming to cities, is building a life in a city after you're supposed to be doing your research.
That's so
You
true,
know,
bro.
and there may not be enough of you guys that are in those small towns preaching about how the small towns are good for you.
Yeah.
That's true.
They keeping themselves in a little circle over there. You know what I mean? That's why the
Yeah.
town stays small. So it's like if you think
There's not a lot of outreach.
right, so it's like people aren't just gonna think, oh, let me go to a town where nobody's talking about it. I don't see anything going on. That's scary. That's really scary.
Yeah.
You know, that's why people that live in small towns, it's usually just a bunch of families over there that've been there for years.
Yeah, and they all know each other
You know,
because nobody leaves.
and they probably don't even want random people coming in too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I was gonna say, recently, like things are changing in Atlanta dramatically since I graduated from high school. 2012, a lot of gentrification has started kicking up. So I've been real estate investing in the outskirts and the fringes. So I've been driving through these towns as a first generation African person, and I'm just like learning Black American culture and seeing it from a different angle. Because of course I grew up here my whole entire life, so I know Black American culture from the city's perspective as far as being from DC and then to Metro Atlanta. Those Black people are 100% different from the Black people that I meet when I'm out here building houses in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So when you see a black person in Monroe, what do you think?
they're totally different from people that I grew up with. They have nothing, like damn near nothing in common with the people that I grew up with. The people that I grew up with have more culture. They're more like exposed to other things. Kind of like you were saying, like they just been there for like 5 generations.
Right.
They're not trying to do nothing. They're really just like, they're just stuck.
Yeah.
They're stuck. They're good people though. Like I'm not gonna take anything away from them. But as far as like being a person whose parents have traveled the world, and now I'm gonna come and quickly just have something in common with this person who's never seen anything, it's like
Yeah, you even
It's
there's
like-
a lot more judgment there too.
it's gonna be fucking
They're gonna
weird.
be judging you so hard.
Who?
My parents are gonna judge the fuck out of
People
me.
that you see in those little small towns,
Yeah.
They're
they got a
the-
certain way that they do things. So it's like, the judgment, the prejudice that you see in the city, you're gonna get a different type of prejudice
people
in
gossip,
a smaller town.
People gossip
Mhm.
a lot more in these small towns.
It's gonna be weird though. Like, how could you have a conversation, right? If your parents was like, "Oh yeah, we did this, this, and that." Like, my family, everybody's stamped up. Everybody got passports.
Right.
It's not even a thing that we think about. We just have them inherently. Well, I'm out here. I'm meeting 50-year-old men that never had a passport.
Right.
But so now, how do I leave from that mentality to go into the middle of nowhere? My family looks at me like I'm crazy for buying houses in the middle of nowhere, even though they're great deals and it's good business. They look at me like, oh my God, like, are you safe? Is it okay?
It's crazy how many
They look at me like that, right?
It's crazy
But now, imagine from a tangible property, that's just property. That's nothing. That's dirt and sticks and wood. Like, it's easy. But now to bring a person from out of that and then like really like have an encounter with them, what are we gonna be talking about?
Right.
What are we doing? Like, I like your values, but like, how do we have a conversation? I don't know. Like, I'm starting from absolute zero.
Mm-hmm.
You're closer to it because you have that FBA history and heritage here. But for me, like, nigga, I got nothing. Like, we could have a banter, but I don't know how to fucking really like have a relationship.
It's crazy how many people in the city are scared of people in the country. Like, people out there, like, when I told my dad I was going to, like, West Virginia, he was like, West Virginia? Like, he was scared. Because he's from the city. He's a city person. He wants to go somewhere, there's a Starbucks 2 minutes away. So it's interesting that, like, your dad's like, oh, the country. Be wary of it. Like, half of the state of Georgia.
I ain't gonna lie. Somebody did pull a gun out on me on the country. I ain't gonna lie.
Tell the story.
That happened. I was looking to purchase a home out there in Covington, probably like 50 minutes from where we are sitting right now. Got to the house, having trouble with the lockbox code. The neighbor comes out. First, he puts his dog on me, one, off the rip. Then as soon as I notice that the dog is right there snarling at me, I see him pull out the weapon and holding me at gunpoint. And I just froze, hands in the air, like, shit, I'm really about to die behind this house. No one can see me. I'm in the middle of nowhere. This is probably like 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock in the winter time, so it's getting dark fast, you know what I'm saying? So these threats are not just in the boogeyman. This shit is real. People will pull a weapon out you and could blow your fucking brains out. And then guess what? They're gonna say, "Oh, he's a black man. He was trying to break in the house." Da, da, da. There's gonna be no justice. Because if I didn't live that situation and survive that situation, I can't tell y'all what was happening. Right. They're just gonna say, "Why was this nigga out here? Like, this is so far from where he works. Why is he here?"
True.
They're not gonna think, "Oh, he's an investor." And when I told the guy, "Oh, I'm an investor," he's like, "Nigga, you're black. Shut the fuck up. You don't look like an investor." That's what he told me.
What did he tell you?
Verbatim, you're not an investor. You don't look like an investor.
That's literally what he told you?
Yes.
So what made him
Wow,
stop?
what's so disbelievable about
I never
that?
said it was disbelievable. What made him stop and put his gun down and put his dogs from sticking at you?
We just left. We just got the fuck out of there. I was like, all right, we're ready to leave. Like,
Basically, he was like, you gotta leave right now.
Yeah, leave. Get the fuck. Get.
Did you ever go back over there?
Never in my life.
You ever talk to anybody that had investments over there?
About that house again?
Yeah.
No, I fucking forgot all about it, bro. It was sold within like 2 more weeks after that. After that encounter, I was like, I'm good. The seller called me to come out there and check it out that day, but hey, man. So this shit ain't what you think it is. America is great, but bro, it still got its drawbacks.
Bro, America's great, but like, that shit's always gonna be there. Just because you're in the city, just because you're in Manhattan, you got your iPhone, you got your Starbucks, doesn't mean there's like millions and millions of like country hillbilly people out there that can like who literally never been anywhere, never even had a passport. So like, I think the two groups of people in America fear the most are hood street niggas and hillbilly white people.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people in America that are feared the most. They always feel like a hood street nigga might rob you, carjack you, try to kill you, think you from the wrong set, try to bully you, try to shoot at your car, anything. That's always a stereotype of black males in the hood.
Right.
That, they gangbanging. They out here. And half of it's true. There's been over 200 homicides in Washington, D.C. this year. How many were black in D.C.?
Yeah.
How many weren't? Let's look that up and we'll see the situation. How many in Chicago are actually black every year? And in the country, I mean, I don't know the statistics because you'll never hear about like in middle of nowhere. I used to live in Ohio, middle of nowhere, Appalachia. You're not gonna hear when a dude gets murdered out there. Like there's no news station, so you're not gonna hear about it. You can't even like Google shit like that.
That's what made it more scary for me, because I knew that if I had gotten
It
shot,
wouldn't even be on the news.
I knew that if I had gotten shot and I couldn't tell my own story,
Yeah.
bro, like he's gonna be looked at as a hero. Like let's be honest, like he's defending the neighborhood, like, and that's what it is. So our parents telling us all those things, they tell us for a reason. Most blacks live in metropolitan areas for a reason, because we're on adversarial land where they do not fucking like
That's
us.
not really
So
true.
it is not easy to just move into some place.
FBAs don't live in the metropolitan areas.
Most.
That's not true though.
It's not true.
No,
It is
not in
true.
the South.
It is true.
Nah, bro. There's every count. Most counties in Georgia, there has a very big black population in rural Georgia, rural Mississippi, obviously rural Mississippi, rural Alabama, rural Louisiana, rural South Carolina, rural North Carolina.
So that you think
rural
that
Virginia, bro, like
keep going.
you know all the southern states, below the Mason-Dixon and shit. So yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously,
Nigga, it's not true, nigga.
It is
I'm gonna
true.
pull up the stats after the show,
Pull up the stats
and we're
in
gonna
the
show
South,
it.
in the deep South.
I don't give a
the
fuck,
deep
nigga.
South-
Keep saying it. It's not true.
It is true.
It's not.
Below the Mason-Dixon, going from Virginia to Louisiana to Arkansas to Mississippi to Tennessee. They're like, bro, you're talking to someone who's been to like a lot of country places. There's a lot. I'm from Kentucky. There's a lot of black people in rural Kentucky. There's like 15 different black towns in rural Kentucky.
All right.
Most black people live like in the South or like the southern parts of like the Midwest.
This is what you're failing to realize, is that one major city trumps 70 of those type of towns as far as the black population. So it doesn't matter. There's millions of people in these cities versus like 30 here, 40 there.
Your perspective is off of DC and Atlanta, though.
You're just not gonna think to go to those areas though. That's the thing.
But we were
Like he
born
does,
there.
he does because
Well,
he's
that's what I do, but
he's
but
like
besides,
that.
But besides that, though,
Just the sheer
we grew
numbers
up there,
doesn't
like,
support
why-
it.
We're going back to slavery.
Who grew up there? You grew up there. We did not as immigrants.
We're
We
not
didn't.
talking about immigrants. I'm talking about FBAs right now.
Yeah, but we're talking
FBAs.
about from the African American,
Oh,
African first generation perspective.
Okay, well, yeah,
we have no, we
have
have
no African in rural Louisiana.
yeah, we have no attachments to
Yeah.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but I ain't
But now-
talking
So
about
this is foreign to us,
Yeah.
Let's say
just like our country is foreign to you.
Yeah, I got you.
even the FBAs though. That's also a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because like I mean, I'm not an FBA, but I've been around FBA communities, and it's like people are not thinking to go. Like what type of FBA is gonna go to a community like that without really knowing? You know what I mean? Like the opportunity might be there,
Yeah.
but it might not be around. Like people probably just don't know that opportunity's there. Cause you're probably right. There could be good opportunity for property development. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like that. I feel like that's where it comes. That's where we need to start bringing stuff to the table.
Bridging
You know what I
those
mean?
gaps, man.
Right. You
Bridging
know what I
the
mean? Like
fucking
really
gaps.
coming out of your shell if you are in that area
Mm-hmm.
and connecting with real estate people here. You know what I mean? FBAs that are in the cities because they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And if they already making their bread in an area where it's like highly populated or highly populated with people that are they're comfortable with,
Yeah.
there's no reason for them to go out there. You know,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be benefit of them going out there, but that benefits that community more than them. So they're already making money where they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's not about whether this area or they should need to be going that area. It's more about why haven't we made that link yet?
Between what?
Damn, I don't know why.
Why haven't people in those communities, those smaller towns,
Yeah.
come out and brought people that are in the real estate community in these
Yeah.
metropolitan areas there? Because that'll be their job.
They have a slave mentality.
I think there is.
I feel.
I think there is.
We have to do it.
It's already happening, is what you're saying.
It's some. I mean, I'm not gonna say.
I mean, I'm doing it.
There's
I'm living
definitely
proof that I'm
people-
doing
There's
it.
definitely
Yeah.
somebody right now who's making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of real estate, off of torn down housing projects in the Mississippi Delta. There's
Right.
somebody there who came in, who owns those properties, who gets crazy monies from the government, and that government money is funded to the people, and those people funding it give it to him.
That's
Maybe a white person, maybe an African,
right.
more likely not an FBA.
Yeah.
But also, you got to realize in these southern states, I've been to Mississippi Delta. A lot of these southern state Mississippi Delta people really do have a slave mentality.
Yeah, that's a bigger. That's
Like
the
going
bigger problem.
when you
probably.
go from like Virginia, like I said, below the Mason Dixon, like a lot of these people who never actually been anywhere, they literally have a slave mentality. Like when you talk to these people in Mississippi Delta, all they talk about is like gang banging, and they're talking about gang banging on somebody who was 2 blocks away.
Self-hate.
What was that place? It was a brickyard. It was somewhere else. And he was like, "Yeah, this the brickyard. We don't like them niggas on the yellow brick road area. Like we don't like them. But like y'all live 3 blocks away, and you talking about you don't like the people.
Yeah, that's
3
a
streets
bigger
away?
problem. You know.
So that's more of a slave mentality.
And that's okay. That's not
Right.
an issue. That's not an issue if you're coming in as a capitalist doing what you're doing. Because I love the fact that the people that are there are asleep because I could take advantage of the situation. When I pull up to these houses, I'm really in shock. I mean, I look at it like, how the fuck did they just let this house sit empty for 10 years? Like, it's shocking. It's like, where I'm from, nigga, that shit don't happen. Somebody's gonna come and build this shit up from nothing. And no, nigga, they're not gonna get no money from the government. They're gonna believe in themselves and invest their own money. Cause if you're a nigga, you ain't getting shit easy. You're gonna have to get it out the mud and believe in
You're gonna have
yourself.
to. You're gonna
I mean,
have to.
investors.
As a nigga, I'm an immigrant,
I'm
bro.
not
So
saying
I'm not saying no investor, no fancy shit. I'm just saying like most times when you're immigrants, everything you have is bootstrapped because that's the culture in which you come from. So you have to go and bet on your own vision because nobody's gonna give you shit. So when you're going out here, you could fully take advantage of a lot of shit that these slave ass niggas just can't see because they've been taught for 100, 400 years to be slave ass niggas. So it's like, it's not that it's a bad thing. I just feel like they need to see us. If they saw people that have a worldly perspective, you have a worldly perspective being that you're from a small town, country area, but you traveled all around this shit. So you have a worldly perspective. Our parents have traveled all around this shit. We have a world, and us have traveled. Like you just told me you went to South America. You know what I'm saying? You're probably more prone to do things like that because your family has traveled the world. And me too, same thing.
Yeah.
Like we just, it's
That's
what we
really
do.
it.
It's what we do.
It's
What we do.
a larger conversation with just connecting and just enlightening.
But we gotta own that though.
Right.
I feel like all 3 of us have to own the
that's my thing.
responsibility.
That's
We
a
don't
good
own
point.
it. We don't own
We
it.
don't. We talk about it,
But we don't own
and
it.
we really not, acting on it.
Yeah.
Like we don't try to be the
That's the
example.
thing, because we're the example.
Like you just do what you do and you think that is normal, but it's like there's some kid somewhere
There's
that
not
has
enough of
no.
us.
He's never seen a person like you in his life,
There you
and
go.
he's black, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna climb this tree today and I'm gonna sell some weed, and then like. We not owning it.
He sees a drug dealer in his neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
that has money.
Yeah, and that's that.
That's money.
Yeah.
Money's right there, and that's the path forward for money.
So
What
like,
else is he gonna do? Like, I don't blame anybody that's in a situation where the role models or whatever have given them this idea of success.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going after. Because where else are they gonna look?
yeah,
Whatever you
no.
see on TV is surrounded by a different culture that you don't know about. And
Mm-hmm.
people don't feel comfortable trying to go after something where they have to fit in. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to try and fit in.
that's so ass. Especially the older you get.
You know what I mean?
you're like, suck a dick.
We know it's part of the game. Like as grown adults, we know that's part of the game.
but
it's
you're
like,
not trying to.
You
do
don't
it.
want to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're gonna do it if you have to.
Well, if
but-
I see a ratchet chick and I think she's attractive, I'm gonna still just be me.
you know what
It's
I
not
mean?
gonna
Like,
work, but I'm gonna make a joke. I'm gonna make a Seinfeld type joke.
right?
She's not gonna like it. She's gonna walk away. But I'm not gonna like try to fit in.
You're not gonna
You can't-
try.
You can't force yourself to like be that way. all
It's
the
not
time.
real.
You know.
It's not
So
real.
it's like just kind of meeting people at their level. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where are they right now? Like, what do they feel comfortable in? And bringing that on the platform that you're on, where it's like, yo, there's a bunch of opportunity right here.
right
You
here.
comfortable with that,
Mm-hmm.
but see, this might be easier. The risk you're taking to get to where you need to go or where you want to go, you might not need to take those risks to make more money.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro, it's sad, bro. I've
So-
seen so much shit. Like, there's a young population there, and they're just not doing shit. I'm like, dog, there's like, all these houses are dirt cheap. That's the
Right.
thing. Like, I'm growing up in a 200K plus house. These houses are like 40 grand. I'm like,
You
bro.
also gotta realize you're a product of your environment, your perspective. Like, what if you
Yeah,
grew- what if-
definitely.
what if-
Because my parents own property.
Yeah, like
You
what if
know?
what if your parents like let's say some African who lives in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi or Louisiana, and that's all they knew. And you'll say your dad came here and instead of like having a good job, he was like a street dude that was African, or he just worked instead of like having like a nice job, like some Africans come here and they're just
Bums. Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Well, if he was just like that, you might.
I said I agree
that.
because
Yeah,
I'm saying that's why I said we have to own it.
Yeah, so I'm not,
we have
I'm
to
never
own
surprised.
our
never
privilege.
surprised,
We have to own the privileged position that we have, bro. Like that's why I said when I said we gotta own it because not all our counterparts have the same thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's people that's like, oh yeah, 5 generations of us all been in prison, and that's the reality, and it's like just fucked up. And that person thinks that if he gets a degree, then he's made it.
There you go.
And that's not even the beginning. Like you haven't done shit.
You can't help, bro. Like people are just who they are. Like it's thousands of niggas that live in the city of Atlanta.
Bro, you can't help though.
You can't, bro. Some niggas are just who they. It's thousands of niggas. Like
some
of those niggas.
It's not about you. It's an age thing. When a person reaches a certain age, you can't help it.
It's like it's thousands of
younger
niggas.
guys, you can't.
Young
Some of
people.
them niggas we saw in Edgewood, they're in the city of opportunity. They on some street shit.
Bro, they're grown though.
They're grown.
It's not about them. We're not talking about them.
Yeah,
we're talking about young people.
Yeah, really young.
Reaching out to malleable people.
Those are the ones you can help.
Yeah.
That's it.
In those small towns.
Because you're not gonna.
We're not gonna really help
grown
them because
man.
they're gonna be. Because some of them are gonna be at a shit school in a shit part of America.
Well, I'm saying to you that I'm aspiring to help. I'm aspiring to be a part of the change.
You can't erase all poverty. That's just unrealistic.
Nah,
but there are certain opportunities.
There's a war on poverty that's never going to change.
Yeah, that's never going to change. That's just life.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not our task. Our task is bringing the guys that have possibilities.
Yeah.
And
to the
opening
forefront.
their horizon.
That's
You
it.
see
That's
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, I think.
That's all. That's all I was trying to say by saying that we should own our privilege. Cause like, bruh, you've seen so much, he's seen so much, I've seen so much. And it's like, it's selfish if we sit there and just hold the ball in our hands like, my life is great. Y'all niggas suck. Damn, y'all in the slums fucked up. Damn. It's like, cause I was in Section 8 fucked up with all these poor ass black Americans, you know, like, and you know, they was ratchet as fuck, but they was cultured. Like they've been in major cities. They moved from other places.
Right.
They've been on an airplane. That was a big deal in our neighborhood. That people was like, man, you never been on an airplane? Like people was asking me like, what's it like on an airplane? I'm scared of it. Like that's a reality for a lot of people, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So
Niggas gonna leave their hood, bro.
Right.
so it's like we gotta do something with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being that our community needs it the most. It'll be different if we were white people, and it's like, okay, you're just that type of white person.
Even like now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like there's just so many.
There's some white people who are like, it's like if it's a white dude who plays golf that lives like in Alpharetta, there's a hillbilly like the one that he saw. He be like, I can't help you.
Yeah, and that's
But for
fine.
black people in general, especially at least in America, I don't know if it's like in Kenya. It's probably somewhere how white people are here because they're the major majority.
Right.
But like, I'm pretty sure a black person is going to see that. It was like thinking in their head, how can I help this brother? That's what they're going to think. That's just how immigrants and minorities think in America.
Yeah,
In most cases.
most times, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I'm definitely
agree.
on that. Like,
But I guess let's get back to the original point. The original topic was like how those people in those small towns have that sense of culture, structure to a T, like, or like the value system is still there. It's still religious. Yeah, with women and and dating them, like,
right.
and like building with them. Like,
Yeah, I would say.
what do y'all think? Like,
For me personally, you're always gonna want a girl with values. Period.
yeah.
You know? But then at the same time, you know, there's a certain set of values that you have personally as a man yourself. You know, so when you're looking at somebody who has a higher moral standard of life than you do, it can kind of feel uncomfortable to try and bond with them, even though that might be your preferred mate. You know.
Why do you say that?
Because I feel
give me
like
the perspective.
it gets to a certain point in life where it's like, you know, we've all done probably some scummy things here and there, a few things. You know? There are certain people that live life on a different moral standard. You
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
And at least for me personally, I've gotten to a point where it's even hard for me to relate to somebody that's at that level of morality. You know what I mean? Because it feels as if I'll be judged. You know?
Okay.
And I think that's the thing with, you know, when people say, well, I'm looking for a church girl or I'm looking for a girl that's from a small town, that girl hasn't been exposed to a lot of things, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's gonna feel uncomfortable with what you're bringing
to the table. That's
you know what
true.
I mean? So it's like, I think knowing that there's that disconnect
It's important.
also matters too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's like, we want to find the ideal mate, which is a girl that is kind of like, you know, she's doesn't have any type of too many experiences, and she's a good girl, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a certain level of good that even you as a guy, you might not be able to handle that. You know, like, it's almost like she's too pure for you. You know what I mean? Like, and there's also, we also don't want a girl that's just doing whatever. But I feel like there's this level of kind of moral relatability that has to be considered. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a hard one. That's a hard
you
one
know
for
what
me.
I mean? Like,
That's a hard one
between a guy
for me.
and a girl. And I feel like
Get your
your
perspective.
difference
if
in
you get
exposure.
married or dating, like for real, yeah. Like I'm attracted to a lot of these ratchet black women I see. When I was at this concert earlier, girl next to me.
You're only
That's
physically
yourself.
attracted though,
Yeah,
black.
but
You don't.
I
You're
like
not
the
really.
personality, though.
You're not
I
really
like
attracted
talking
to
to
them.
them. Though. I like talking to them too.
But you don't really like them. You like their
Yeah,
body.
it's true. We're not talking about dating right now. So I'm like, opposites can attract.
Well, if we're talking about just, you know, just
Yeah.
Just-
You're talking about like getting to know
I'm
them.
not talking about actually getting to
talking
know
about-
them. Like
That's what
actually
you're talking
dating.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
but-
talking about real
That's
life.
different, yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
I'm not
But,
talking about
would
what
you
you're
talk
talking about.
Would you talk to a ratchet black girl in Atlanta with red or pink hair?
I'll talk to anybody because
But I mean, like, you wouldn't date her though,
I wouldn't date her.
but you would smash her.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that'll,
that's
that'll
what
be
he's
a
doing.
different experience.
Yeah.
That's not what he's talking about though.
but
Oh, we're
then
going,
that's
we're going
different.
fully on dating.
yeah,
because
you're
it's like-
talking about something different.
I mean, it's more of like, you're gonna get older. You're gonna want to more so take it
Yeah,
seriously
have a real
eventually, you
fucking
know?
life.
we got
So it's
Grown
like,
up shit.
You know, right now, I mean, yeah, sure, you know, because we're young, you know, we'll just do whatever. But I would say when you get into that point where it's like, all right, I want to take a girl seriously, I want to like actually like really relate to somebody. That's when it's like now we actually have to have that conversation because like, who do you pick? You know, Because
This is
it's
my
like-
thing, right? Can I give you my perspective?
Yeah.
I guess I'm a cynic to an extent. Even if a person is a staunch, devout, religious person, they're still a human.
Right.
So I always know somewhere you could be praying every day, 7 days out the week. I always in my heart feel like you up to no good.
Well-
in some area,
I
you
wouldn't-
you might not be as slummed out as me, but like, bruh,
I
if you
wouldn't
got
say that
any
they're up
type
to
of
no
dirt,
good. I wouldn't say that they're up to no good.
Why?
I would just say that now there's
let me
there's-
make sure that this thing's still good.
Yeah, sure. Is it good?
Yep, we're good. We're great.
So
We're good.
yeah,
That's
we're
fine.
good basically because we're not gonna be here for much longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I guess we could pause a little bit so we could start.
If you edit.
All right.
Go.
So yeah, basically what I mean when I'm talking about just there are two different types of religious girls. There are the religious girls that are religious and they grew up in the religion and they have not strayed because of their community is small.
Yes. Yeah.
There was no reason for them to stray. and
No
there's not a lot
temptation.
of exposure. Yeah. Now there are the girls that have that exposure and have lived a life that's not very clean. And they come back to the religion.
Yes.
That's a different type of girl. Those girls, I'm not necessarily taking their religious nature seriously. Because
At all.
It's like,
Me
we're on
neither.
the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not on your level of religion,
Yes.
but then we've lived through the same things.
Talk about it.
So
Yeah.
it's like, in a way,
streets.
I may not completely trust myself because I know I have been exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I say not trust myself, I'm not talking about cheating or anything like that. I'm talking about just other random stuff that I might be judged on
Right.
in a
Yeah.
religious type of setting.
Okay.
You know what I mean? While if I'm getting the girl that came from a small town, she's been doing her thing, she hasn't been exposed. I know that girl's religious and I know she's doing her thing. And I know her judgment has merit because she's in that place where she can judge me.
Why?
She
Why?
can because she hasn't done it.
Bro,
So,
hold
I don't
on,
think
hold on,
anybody
hold
can
on.
judge anyone, but
Hold
it's like
the
in a way,
phone.
if you've lived your life to a certain degree of moral, like, if you've lived your life to a certain degree of morality, you've put yourself through that discipline. You're going to expect the people around you to be the same. That's just how it is, off of just a comfortability perspective. You know what I mean?
In my
You're
experience,
going to
right?
be more comfortable with guys that, as a girl, with guys that haven't done certain things because it's like that's uncomfortable to you. Like I've never done that, and I don't have a need to do that because.
But in my experience, I mean, it's like I don't think women don't lead, so I don't give a fuck about her judgment that much. Like it matters because I want her to be happy.
Right.
But what she thinks and her judgments, they're an afterthought. Because you shouldn't be leading, period. So if you feel a way, you should probably get the fuck out.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like when you're connecting with somebody,
Like, okay, we have something established.
yeah, you're trying to connect with them. So it's
But see, this is where the fuck up is,
Right.
right? This is where we get the Tyler Perry bullshit of, oh, this bad man did this to me. This is bullshit because the man is still the head of the household. You shouldn't have picked that man. Or like you shouldn't even entertain this. Just leave, bitch. Don't tell me anything about, oh, you should be doing things this way because of this.
But
Like, do you trust the nigga or
they're
not?
gonna nitpick though. That's just a woman.
They can talk because they're women, but in all actuality, bro, who hasn't seen their mom get frazzled with their dad? But at the end of the day, you need this nigga. Like, stop it. You need him. Even if he's not as moral as you need him.
But that's another thing too, right? I think there's enough of us that are very religious and enough of us that are not, where we can choose the ones that are similar to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like I'm not gonna go into some pure, really religious girl's life and like bring in all of my exposure and all of my.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna do that either.
And as men, we lead. Mm-hmm. So it's a conversation we need to have. Because after we're in the girl situation, because I don't feel like a girl that is being led is ever gonna leave. She might be miserable and uncomfortable, but she's never gonna leave because she's being led by you.
Exactly.
And she's really in her place. But
to a fruitful place.
Yeah, that's more of the girl that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about these ones that are just like, oh, I don't care about what you do or whatever, because I'm not gonna be with those anyway.
Yeah, that's
you know what
nasty.
I mean? I'm not worried about those because I'm worried about the ones that I can lead. The ones that I can lead, I would rather have one that's like, she has some exposure, but she's decent.
Yes, yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She has exposure, like she's done things, she's lived.
She's seen things, she knows things.
You know what I mean? But she's not indecent where it's like she's done things that it's like, oh no, that's
a lot.
You know what I mean? And that's regrettable. You know, that's where it changes. Now, it's all about what the girl discloses to you too, and her actions. Mm-hmm. Because her actions speak louder than her words.
Always.
So it's like if you watching a girl and watching her movements, she's gonna tell you how
everything,
she is,
bro,
without talking.
Everything.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you find one that tells you how she is, that's more so what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? Like I don't care if a girl says, "Oh, I'm religious," or "Oh, I pray," or "Oh, I go to the church." I feel like I don't need to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I need to see it.
You know what I mean? And even if you do it, that's for you. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what
it's not for you to control a man.
Right. That's for
That's
her.
where I get,
you know?
That's where I have to log off. Like, bitch, what are you talking about?
You know what I mean?
That's where I got, you know what I'm saying? Because they'll try to do that oftentimes. And when a woman is trying to do that, she's out of order to me.
Well,
as far as my, because like God doesn't co-sign that. Like your man has to be connected to God, you be connected to God, and then you like it's a trickle down.
Right.
You're not about to rope me like in a traditional sense. You're not gonna rope the Bible around my neck and then get me to do X, Y, Z. I have to already want to do those things.
That's a religious thing that I feel like
it's disgusting. That's why when you go to these churches, there's a bunch of lonely ass fat black women sitting around with no men and a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
so hey man, this shit is not a coincidence. Y'all are trying to do all that like G-checking on your man with scripture, but look, your life is miserable and you're married to Joe Biden. At the end of the day, you're still going to get your vouchers and all that shit and your Section 8, so shut the fuck up. It's not working. You're not living the prosperous life that the Bible talks about.
Yeah.
So you are out of order. And any man that entertains that is also out of order. So I would never even ask any young man to put himself in that situation for terms of morality, because a lot of black men are raised by women, and women have a way of your mom always going to make you feel bad about doing things that are immoral. That's her nature. She's a mom. She just wants you to be the best that you can be. But at the same time, bro, life is life. we have to do a lot of things to have a life and be successful. You may not make it to church every Sunday because you're busy trying to build. You're trying to do this, do that, whatever. And you're not flawless. You're a human being. Right. The whole Bible talks about us being fallible. So it's like, if I'm less religious than my religious wife, it's like, what the fuck? As long as we believe in the same stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and as long as I can reconcile with her and agree that, okay, damn, maybe I need to move in this direction, there shouldn't be an issue there. But you shouldn't be trying to beat him over the head either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to trust your guy.
At the end of the day, a very religious girl should not be going after a guy that...
But they always do.
Yeah.
They love the street shit.
That's where the problem is. You know what I mean? Like, don't think you're going to change a man because a man is leading himself. And if you're in an ideal situation as a woman, the man will be leading you by proxy. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't lead a man because he's going to do whatever he's going to do, whether that's right or wrong, or what they want or not.
Yeah.
You know? So I think knowing that that's a law, you cannot change a man's mind.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't.
You can't do it.
You can maybe alter his decision-making process, but
you can't change
his decisions will still ultimately be
his.
Yeah. You know. And I think that's where the problem lies.
Unless you got a son husband or some shit. Some unnatural shit.
Yeah, and then that's just different because at that point, that's your son. So, he's going to listen to what you're saying because it's a mom. But at the end of the day, still, once that guy reaches a certain age, it's out of your hands. You know, it's an age thing. Once men reach a certain age, you can't change them. You know.
Yeah, I believe it.
You just can't.
So, what do you feel about the segue that we touched on a little bit, where that good girl always goes after the bad guy, jumps out there? What is the psychology behind that to you?
Well, as far as a good girl going after a bad guy, I mean, I feel a bad guy is making decisions off of how he feels he wants to make a decision. So,
off of instinct.
You know what I mean? And girls want to feel as if they're being led by somebody. So the bad guy just knows what he wants. And that's just the reality of the situation. The bad guy is going
decisive
in a direction that has nothing to do with the girl. When girls see that, they want to follow.
Yes, sir.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Women follow men that have some form of direction.
Yes.
We call it bad because he's going in the wrong way. But at the end of the day, it's the direction that's the commonality there, you know? Mm-hmm. And I feel like if there's that direction there, you know what I mean? It's all
good, yeah.
They're going to follow.
I agree wholeheartedly. I just wanted to get your perspective on it real quick and see where you lied at.
Right.
Because I do think there's, like, with all the teaching and all the Bible that we're going to put on people still have these human animal instincts that's like, women want to be led, bro.
That lizard brain.
They always want to be led. And they're going to pick, even if this guy is a great leader, but he's leading a gang in the neighborhood. She's like, shit, I want to be with that. He's lit, yeah. Versus this guy who's in church every Sunday and he's just like
led by somebody else.
Yeah, he's submissive as fuck.
Led by somebody else when I can just go after this guy that's leading things by himself. I'm getting closer and closer to the source.
Exactly.
You know,
I don't have to deal with the bullshit.
And that's in every society.
Every time, worldwide, even in Korea, North Korea. So, hey, man, this was a beautiful segment. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Bridging the Gap. We'll be back to you guys with more. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all got anything to add to the conversation? Get down there in the comment section below. Also, hit that like button, man. Put the thumbs up for us, please. We need thumbs up to keep growing what we got going. I'm trying to get in that algorithm. All right, y'all. See y'all on the next episode. We out.